Today's athletes tend to specialize in one sport. Our next Hall of Famer, Kelly, epitomizes what a multi-sport athlete should look like. During her high school career, Kelly has earned or has lettered in volleyball, soccer, basketball, and track. And folks, I have to tell you that I've been working a month and a half to try to get a brag sheet from Kelly, and she is one of the most modest persons. She has, apparently they don't have or save any of her trophies. So, Kelly, just so you know, was was a conference high jump champion, state qualifier. During her junior year, Kelly helped lead her team to the semifinals in soccer. That was her junior year. Her senior year, she decided that she wanted to play basketball instead of soccer and led her team to the semifinals in basketball. She is an all-league volleyball player, all-league soccer player, all-league basketball player, a conference high jump champion. She was also named the East County Female Athlete of the Year by the Daily Californian. When it was all said and done, Kelly earned 10 varsity letters, 5 all-league honors, and 4 MVP honors. But she wasn't done. Her accomplishments continued into college, where she became a 2-time All-American volleyball player. I said volleyball player, girls. Yeah. In 1993, she led her team, Westmont, to a 3rd place finish in the NAIA National Championships and was named to the All-Tournament team. In 1994, she was named the Golden State Athletic Conference Female Athlete of the Year. But she wasn't done. Kelly was also a multi-sport athlete in college. Her other sport was track and field, where she currently is in the top 3 of all time for both high jump and the heptathlon. For her efforts, she was one of the first athletes at Westmont to receive a full athletic scholarship. Kelly was inducted into Westmont's Hall of Fame in September of 2005. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce you to Kelly Barnes-Green.
Before I get started, raise your hand if you were born after 1991. All of you, athletes. That's scary because that's when I graduated from high school. But I don't know if that's as scary as the fact that about 5 or 6 of the kids that were called up to here, I went to school with your parents. Scarier even than that, 2 of my high school volleyball pictures, thank you Renata, are on the tables. So, many of you do not know me, but I would like to share a little about my journey in athletics through some thank yous that I have. First, I'd like to thank my Lord and Savior for blessing me with athletic abilities, the love of sports, both in coaching and in playing. I'd like to thank the committee who chose me for this honor and inducting me into the Hall of Fame. I'd like to start out with my parents, my mom and dad, for supporting me and being there always, like you parents have been there always. Mom, it begins with my 3 brothers in sports. You may ask why so many sports. I had 3 brothers and I was the only girl. They were playing soccer and they were playing baseball and they were playing football and basketball, and I was in gymnastics. My first lesson that my mom taught me was, when you're running at the ball, quit running like a princess and run like your brothers. So I did. This is where I have to thank my brothers, Dan, Scott, and John, for always being athletes that I could look up to and play hard against. You made me the athlete that I was, or that I am. The second lesson on being tough, they taught me how to play hard, because if I didn't play hard and make their team win, I didn't get to play. They also taught me how to lose well, because I was lost. I still think I lose every time I play, even in ping pong. I try, but I still lose. Needless to say, I left gymnastics and I began my career in soccer. Now you guys have to understand, when I was playing sports, girls, there were no club sports. So if you want to play club sports, you have to play on a boys' team. And this is where I want to thank my very first soccer coach, Mr. Gear. Not your vice principal, Mr. Gear. Not your water polo and swim coach, Mr. Gear. Their dad. He coached me, and I think it's your grandpa. There's 2 Gear boys out there, I believe. It's your grandpa. He was my coach. boys soccer, there's no crying. You have to be tough, which reminds me of one of my most favorite movie quotes. And it's League of Their Own. Some of the parents might know, some of the athletes might not. But in Tom Hanks, he is a mean, has-been, sorry, baseball player. And he had to take up this team of women on. At this time, the ladies were playing this sport, and the men were going over and fighting in a war. And so they asked the women to play baseball in their skirts, with shorts underneath. And they did. And this one lady comes up to Tom Hanks, who is looking at her, and she is crying. And he spits his tobacco, he curses at her, and he says, "Crying? There is no crying in baseball." And my favorite part of that is she wipes away the tears. She goes back to play tough on the field, like a lady. And that's something my mom taught me. It's okay to play tough like a boy, but girls, it's okay to be a girl as you play. I want to thank my cousins, Jeff, Tim, and Becky Briggs, for breaking into high school, or for breaking into Granite Hills High School sports and working hard and teaching me that I too could make it in high school sports before I even knew about high school sports if I worked hard like you guys did. To Jim Hunter, who came over to Montgomery Middle School and saw me run track and said, "Please, when you get to high school, come out, try out for track." And finally, to my volleyball coach, Renata Armstrong. She encouraged me in volleyball, but she encouraged me to go beyond. She encouraged me to play in college. And this is where I went to college, and I did. I ran 2 years of track, 4 years of volleyball. And this is where my journey as a Barnes ends, and as a Green begins. Because yes, I went to college, and I met my husband there, on a volleyball court. And the story goes like this, for you volleyball players. I was setting on one side of the net, and there was a hitting line on the other side. He proceeded to be in the hitting line as I set the ball. We're on opposite sides of the court, and he bounced a ball off my head. And I don't know if this was to impress me or to get my attention, but he did. He won my heart. And thus begins our career in coaching. And we get to coach side by side. So John, thank you for allowing me to do that. First we coach our kids, now we coach our high school students. And you may wonder, why the thank yous to explain my journey? Because some of my thank yous have been long overdue. Thank you for all who have inspired me along my athletic career. And I would like to encourage you as athletes. This might be a tough one. Thank your coaches. Even tougher, thank your parents. Everyone likes to be honored along the way. After practices and games, look your coach in the eye, shake their hand, and say thank you. Thank you for your time, and thank you for the life that you're putting into me. So thank you for listening to my journey. Now I want to speak into yours. Wondering what to say tonight, I went to YouTube, as many of you do, looking for something funny or sad. What I was looking for was something inspirational. And before I explain what I found, I'd like you to listen to this and remember this quote. We as coaches can teach you how to run and jump and swim, throw, swing, when to pass the ball or when to shoot. But we cannot teach courage, or what my stepdad would have called moxie, desire, character, all out wanting to win while being an athlete of integrity. When I was watching this video, it's an indoor track meet. It's on it was a 600 meter. And there it is, 600 meter, not a 660 or a 440, but a 600 meter race. Track courses are smaller inside, so it's 3 laps. This girl takes off, and she is second place as they go around lap 1. As they make lap 2, she takes over and she gets into first place, and she trips, and she's down. 3 girls are ahead of her. She's good 20 yards behind, and all of a sudden you hear the announcers going, "Oh, she's lost it. She's not going to make it." And then comes the first turn. Wait a second. She's caught the girl, and she's caught the 3rd place runner. She passes the 3rd place runner. She makes the last turn, and she's catching the 1st and the 2nd place runner. As she gets to 10 yards, she overtakes the 2nd place runner, and as she steps past the finish line, she beats her own teammate to win the race to go on to the national championship. As you are on your athletic journey, no matter the race you're running, whether it's baseball, football, wrestling, swimming, don't let your successes and failures define who you are. Let it build you as a person, developing desire and character, integrity. A lesson I wish I would have learned sooner. Sports is a part of who I am, but it's not my identity. Athletes, let the coaches and parents speak into you. We are the crowd who cheers after you succeed. We are also the ones who pick you up after you have fallen. Parents, to you, remember the fun. It might take some effort, but remember the fun. The firsts. That very first uniform your little girl put on with that big old hair bow. Remember when treats were the best part of the sport. Remind your athletes why they do what they do, because there's going to be many times where they want to quit and they want to give up. Some of you out here will use your talents and you will play in college. Others will use your experiences here to make your life's journey much fuller. But I want to challenge you all. We as coaches can coach skills, but only you have the ability to have courage. Be courageous and bold in your sport, showing character, desire, and always giving your very best. And most importantly, be an athlete of integrity. Thank you for your time, and I hope you were inspired.